Chapter 4. A period of several weeks followed, during which I heard not one word from Dibs' mother. I called the school and asked the headmistress if she had heard anything from the parents. She said she had not heard from them either. I inquired about Dibs. She said that things were about the same as usual. Dibs had been attending school regularly. They were, more or less, just standing by, hoping that the play sessions would soon begin. Then one morning, I received this signed release slip from the parents, giving me permission to record the sessions. There was a brief note stating their willingness to cooperate in our study of the child and suggesting that I call them and arrange for the weekly appointments with Dibs. I scheduled the interview for the following Thursday afternoon in the playroom at the center. I asked my secretary to call Dibs' mother and ask if the time was convenient. She said the time was satisfactory and that she would bring him over to the center. Several of us sighed with relief. Apparently, this family did not make such decisions lightly. One could only speculate on the significance of the delay and following through on the play sessions and imagine the turmoil and misgivings the parents had undergone as they studied the next move they might make. And what of Dibs in this meantime? Had they been taking thoughtful looks in his direction, trying to size up the possible outcomes of any attempt at evaluation of his abilities? In all likelihood, they had been carefully weighing all the angles involved in this venture. It had been a real temptation to call the mother and urge her to bring Dibs in, or ask if they had made any decision. I had not done so, because I felt that we had nothing to gain by trying to force a decision if one had not already been made, and much to lose if they were still considering what they might ultimately do. It had been a long, frustrating wait. Dibs arrived at the center promptly with his mother. She told the receptionist she would return for him in 1 hour and left him in the waiting room. I went in to greet him. He was standing on the spot where his mother had left him, wearing his coat, hat, mittens, and boots. I walked up to him. "Good afternoon, Dibs," I said. "It is good to see you again. Let's go back to the playroom. It is at the end of this hall." Dibs reached out and silently took my hand. We walked down the hall to the playroom. "This is another playroom," I said to him. "It is something like the one in your school where I saw you several weeks ago." "That's right," he said haltingly. This playroom was on the ground floor. The room was bright with sunshine. It was a more attractive room than the other one, but the equipment was essentially the same. The windows looked out over a parking lot, and on the other side of the lot was a large grey stony church. When we got into the playroom, Dibs walked slowly around, touching the materials, naming the items with the same questioning inflection he had used on the first visit to the other playroom. Sandbox, easel, chair, paint, car, doll, dollhouse. Every item he touched, he named in that manner. Then he varied it a little. "Is this a car? This is a car. Is this sand? This is sand. Is this paint? It is paint." After he had completed the first circuit of the room, I said, "Yes, there are many different things in the room, aren't there? And you have touched and named most of them." "That's right," he said softly. I didn't want to rush him, give him time to look around and explore. Every child needs time to explore his world in his own way.